The massive alien station orbited silently around Alpha Centauri, its crystalline structures catching starlight in dazzling patterns. Inside, Ambassador Kim stood at the center of the Grand Council chamber, feeling very small despite his important role. Representatives from 27 alien species watched him with expressions ranging from curiosity to open contempt. "The people of Earth formally request membership in the Galactic Council," Kim announced, his voice steady despite his racing heart. He had practiced this speech for months, but now facing these ancient beings, his carefully chosen words felt inadequate. Behind him, his team tried to appear confident. Deputy Ambassador Lee held her digital tablet tightly, knuckles white with tension. They had traveled for 3 months to reach this station, the first humans ever to venture so far from Earth. Grand Councillor Telix rose from his elevated seat. His species, the Vraxians, resembled tall, elegant insectoids with translucent blue exoskeletons. "The Council acknowledges the petition of humans," he said, pronouncing the word as if it tasted strange. Kim nodded respectfully. "We bring greetings from Earth and offer our friendship." A low murmur spread through the chamber, and Kim noticed several representatives exchanging glances. One delegate, a gaseous entity contained within a hovering sphere, emitted a sound like laughter. "Tell us," Telix continued, "how long has your species been capable of faster-than-light travel?" 15 Earth years, Kim answered proudly. Their first successful jump drive had been a global celebration. This time the laughter was unmistakable. Many delegates didn't bother hiding their amusement. 15 years, repeated a third representative near the front. "My species has traveled. The stars for 8,000 cycles. The Vraxians for 20,000, added Telix. Yet you come before us requesting equal status." Kim felt his face grow warm. "We understand we are young compared to your civilizations, but—" "Young," interrupted another councillor. "You are infants. Your biological forms are inefficient. Your technology is primitive. Your history is stained with constant warfare." The Chamber's central display activated, showing images from Earth's history. World wars, environmental disasters, poverty and strife. Kim recognized the footage from their own historical archives, which they had shared as part of their application. "Just 3 centuries ago, you were killing each other over resources and ideology," Telix observed. "Why should we believe you are ready for the responsibilities of council membership?" Lee stepped forward. "Because we learned from those mistakes. Earth is now united. We have eliminated poverty, developed clean energy, and begun healing our planet." "Noble sentiments," said Telix, "but the Council requires more than words." For the next several hours, the human delegation answered increasingly pointed questions about Earth's technology, governance, and biology. With each answer, the Council's skepticism seemed to grow. On the 3rd day, Kim and his team were summoned back to the chamber for the Council's decision. After careful deliberation, Telix announced, the Council has decided to grant Earth the status of provisional observer. Kim's heart sank. Observer status was the lowest possible rank, barely more than acknowledgement of their existence. "This designation will be reviewed in 50 standard years," Telix continued. "Until then, human vessels may visit designated trading outposts only. No human settlements will be permitted beyond your home system." As Telix outlined the severe limitations of their new status, Kim noticed several councillors smirking. The message was clear. Humans were considered barely civilized curiosities, not equals. After the session, as the human delegation prepared to depart, they were approached by Telix in a private corridor. "I hope you understand, Ambassador," he said, his voice softer than in the public chamber. "Some species require time to prove themselves worthy." Kim met the alien's compound eyes. "And some require time to recognize worth in others." Telix's antennae twitched in what might have been surprise. Bold words from one so young. "Youth has its advantages," Kim replied, "including the ability to surprise." On the journey home, the mood aboard the human ship was somber. Most of the delegation felt humiliated by their treatment. "They treated us like children," Lee said, as she joined Kim in the observation deck. "Worse than children, like pets performing tricks." Kim watched the stars streaking past. They've been the dominant powers for thousands of years. They can't imagine we might have something unique to offer. What do we do now? Lee asked. Kim turned to her, a small smile forming. We do what humans have always done when underestimated. We prove them wrong. As Earth came into view weeks later, Kim prepared his report for the United Earth government. He would not sugarcoat the Council's disdain, but he would emphasize the opportunity it presented. The stars had just witnessed humanity's first stumble on the galactic stage. They would soon witness its rise. 10 years passed since that humiliating day before the Galactic Council. The bright morning sun streamed through the tall windows of the Seoul Science Complex as Dr. Park adjusted the final settings on his laboratory equipment. His eyes were tired from working through the night, but excitement kept him alert. "Is it ready?" asked Minister Song as she entered the lab with her security team. Dr. Park nodded. The final simulations were successful. This will change everything. He activated the device at the center of the room. A small model spacecraft hovered above a circular platform. With a few commands on his control panel, the space around the model seemed to ripple like water. Then, in an instant, the model disappeared from its position and reappeared at the opposite end of the platform. The quantum fold drive doesn't move through space, Park explained. It temporarily folds space itself, bringing the destination to the ship rather than the ship to the destination. Minister Song watched with wide eyes. And the Council races have nothing like this. Nothing, Park confirmed. Their fastest ships would take weeks to reach places we can now arrive at in minutes. Across Earth, similar breakthroughs emerged with increasing frequency. The mockery from the Galactic Council had not crushed human spirits. It had ignited them. In orbit above Mars, Director Kang supervised the construction of massive colony ships. Workers in spacesuits moved like slow-dancing astronauts against the backdrop of the red planet. Section 4 is complete, reported her assistant through the comm system. Kang smiled as she looked at the nearly finished vessel. The Phoenix will be our first self-sustaining deep space colony ship. It can establish outposts in systems the Council considers uninhabitable. Below on the Martian surface, the first human settlement beyond Earth had grown from a research station into a thriving city of 300,000 people. Similar outposts now existed on Europa, Titan and Ganymede. But the real achievement came 6 months later, when the Phoenix made its first jump to a star system 16 light-years away, a journey that would have taken Council ships nearly a year. "Jump complete," announced Captain Han, as the strange disorientation of quantum folding subsided. All systems functioning perfectly. The bridge crew cheered as the view screens showed an unexplored solar system with 2 promising planets. Within hours, they detected rich mineral deposits that Council races had never been able to reach. Over the next 5 years, humanity expanded rapidly. 12 new star systems hosted human colonies. The United Earth Alliance formed to coordinate this expansion, pooling global resources toward their shared future among the stars. One muggy summer day, Ambassador Lee, now promoted to Earth's chief diplomatic officer, received an unexpected visitor at the Singapore Global Headquarters. "A Vraxian diplomatic vessel has entered orbit," her assistant reported. "Grand Councillor Telix requests a meeting." Lee straightened her uniform. 10 years ago, she had stood in embarrassed silence as Telix had dismissed humanity's potential. Now he was here in human territory. The meeting room was deliberately impressive, with windows overlooking the lush Singapore coastline. When Telix entered, Lee noticed his blue exoskeleton had darkened with age. "Ambassador Lee," he greeted, with a slight bow. "Your world has changed much since we last met." "As have we," she replied coolly. Telix's antennae twitched. "Indeed, the Council has been monitoring your expansion. 12 systems in 5 years is unprecedented for such a young species." "We move quickly when motivated," Lee said. "So I see." Telix paused. "Some Council members are concerned about this rapid growth." Lee raised an eyebrow. "Concerned or surprised?" "Both, perhaps. Your mining operations in the Proxima system extract materials from environments too hostile for any Council race to work in. Your quantum fold technology outpaces our best drives. These are unexpected developments." And yet you still classify us as mere observers, Lee noted. Telex shifted uncomfortably. Classifications can change. The Council meets in 3 months to review several matters. Earth's status may be among them. After Telex departed, Lee called an emergency meeting with Alliance leadership. In the underground command center, she reported the conversation. They're worried, concluded President Kim, the former ambassador who had faced the Council's mockery a decade earlier. Good, let them worry. Director Kang frowned. Could they try to stop our expansion? Dr. Park shook his head. They can't. Their ships can't catch ours. Their environmental suits can't protect them where we can go. For the first time, humans have advantages they can't match. President Kim looked at the holographic display showing human settlements spreading across the local star cluster. We won't slow down. If anything, we accelerate. Not to threaten them, but to show them what they missed by dismissing us. As the meeting concluded, Lee looked at the small model of the Phoenix displayed near the exit. 10 years ago, the Council had laughed at human ambitions. Now those same ambitions were reshaping the galactic landscape, one folded star system at a time. The emergency alarms woke Dr. Yoon from a deep sleep. Red lights flashed throughout her research station on Europa. She grabbed her tablet as she rushed to the command center, still wearing her sleep clothes. "What's happening?" she asked as she entered the crowded room. Commander Lee pointed to the main screen. "The Helios Cascade has destroyed another system. Tebris is gone." Yoon stared in shock. Tebris was a council world with 3 billion inhabitants. The screen showed only debris where the planet had been. "That's the 3rd system this month," someone whispered. Admiral Choi's face appeared on the communication screen. Her expression was grim. "This is not a drill," she announced to all human colonies. "The phenomenon we call the Helios Cascade is accelerating. Council worlds Tebris and Novalith have been completely destroyed. Over the next 3 days, Dr. Yoon barely slept. She analyzed data from observation posts near the destroyed systems. Something about the cascade's pattern bothered her. Natural disasters didn't behave this way. On the 4th day, she burst into the command center. "I need to speak to Alliance headquarters immediately," she demanded. When the connection was established, Yoon presented her findings to President Kim and the Alliance leadership. "The cascade isn't natural," she explained, pointing to her analysis. "Look at these energy signatures. The pattern is too precise, too targeted. This is a weapon, ancient but deliberately activated." "A weapon?" Minister Song asked. "Whose weapon?" "I don't know yet," Yoon admitted. "But these patterns match artifacts discovered in the Tau Ceti system. They're at least 50,000 years old." President Kim frowned. "Have you shared this with the Council?" "I tried," Yoon said. "They dismissed it without proper review." Later that day, Yoon found herself in a holographic conference with the Council's Science Directorate. As she explained her theory, she noticed the alien scientists exchanging skeptical glances. "Preposterous," said the Medusan representative when she finished. "Our analysis clearly shows this is a natural cosmic event. Your primitive understanding has led you to superstitious conclusions." "Did you even examine the energy patterns?" Yoon asked, frustration evident in her voice. "We have studied cosmic phenomena for thousands of years," the Medusan replied coldly. "We do not need lessons from observer species." After the call ended, Yoon contacted President Kim. "They won't listen," she reported. "Their pride blinds them." That night, the Alliance leadership convened an emergency session. The holographic meeting included representatives from all human colonies. "If Dr. Yoon is right," President Kim said, "the cascade will continue to destroy systems in its path. Council models predict it will reach the core worlds within 6 months. "And our models?" asked Colony Governor Park. 3 months, replied Dr. Yoon grimly. "Their calculations don't account for the acceleration pattern." Prime Minister Bay stood up. "Then we need to act now. Based on Dr. Yoon's research, I propose we develop the Aegis Protocol, a massive shield array designed to deflect the cascade's energy." Director Kang frowned. "That would require resources from nearly all our colonies. Many would need to be temporarily evacuated." "If we're wrong, we waste resources," Prime Minister Bay acknowledged. "If we're right and do nothing, entire civilizations die, including possibly our own." The vote was unanimous. Within days, human colonies began the largest coordinated effort in their history. Mining operations shifted to extract materials needed for the shield arrays. Research stations focused entirely on developing the technology. On New Mars, colony leader Min watched as families boarded evacuation ships. His own family was among them. "We'll return when this is over," his wife promised, holding their daughters. Hand Min nodded. "The colony will be here waiting. We're not abandoning our home, we're protecting everyone's home." Similar scenes played out across human space. Colonies that had taken years to build were temporarily emptied to provide resources for the Aegis Protocol. 3 weeks later, a Council observation ship arrived at the New Mars colony. The alien delegation seemed confused by the evacuation in progress. "Why abandon your settlements?" asked the Vraxian observer. "Our models show the cascade will not reach this sector for at least 6 months." "We're not abandoning them," explained Engineer Kim as she supervised the dismantling of a fusion reactor. "We're using these resources to build something that might stop the cascade." The Vraxian's antennae twitched in disbelief. "Your species believes it can stop a cosmic event that the Council's best scientists cannot explain." Kim continued working as she replied, "Sometimes fresh eyes see what experienced ones miss." As the Council ship departed, Captain Bay watched from the bridge of her vessel, the Prometheus. The ship had been redesigned to carry the first operational Aegis array. "They still don't believe us," her first officer noted. "They will," Bay replied, studying the deployment schematics. "But I hope they realize it before it's too late." The cascade continued its destructive path across the galaxy, and the clock was ticking. Humanity raced to complete their desperate plan, one that would either prove their worth to the galaxy or become their final legacy. Chaos filled the Great Council chamber. Alien representatives shouted over each other as terrifying images played on the massive screens. The Helios cascade had destroyed another 5 systems in just 2 weeks. It was now moving faster than anyone had predicted. "Our evacuation ships cannot move quickly enough," cried the Medusan representative, his gaseous form swirling in distress. "Millions will die." Grand Councillor Telix struggled to maintain order. His once bright blue exoskeleton had dulled with stress and lack of sleep. "We must focus on solutions," he insisted, though his voice revealed his own fear. Just then, the chamber doors opened. President Kim walked in, followed by Admiral Choi and Dr. Yoon. The human delegation had not been invited to this emergency session. "This is a closed council meeting," Telix said, though without much conviction. "The cascade will reach your homeworlds in 14 days, President Kim stated calmly. "We can help." A brief silence fell over the chamber. "With what?" asked a representative from the back. Admiral Choi stepped forward and activated a small device. A hologram appeared, showing a complex shield array. "The Aegis Protocol," she explained. "We've built 17 deployment vessels based on Dr. Yoon's research." Dr. Yoon moved to the center of the chamber. "As I tried to explain months ago, the cascade is an ancient weapon. We've developed shields that can deflect its energy into subspace." "Untested theory," scoffed the chief Medusan scientist. "Actually, we've successfully tested it on a small scale," Dr. Yoon replied. "We need permission to position our ships in your territories immediately." The council erupted again in arguments. Some demanded proof. Others insisted they try their own solutions first. A few openly accused the humans of seeking to expand their influence during the crisis. President Kim waited patiently until Telix restored order. "Why would you help us?" asked a reptilian councillor. "We have given you little reason to risk yourselves." Kim looked around the chamber slowly, meeting the eyes of those who had once mocked his people. "Because that's what civilization means. We help each other survive." After hours of debate, desperation won out. The council granted emergency authorization for human ships to enter all threatened systems. Captain Bay stood on the bridge of the Prometheus as it emerged from Quantum Fold near the Vraxian colony world of Kelthar. Her crew worked efficiently. Around her, preparing the massive shield generator for deployment. "Cascade energy front detected," reported her science officer. "Estimated arrival, 46 minutes. Bay nodded. "Begin deployment sequence. All teams to their stations. The Prometheus moved into position, extending its array of shield emitters. 2 other human ships took positions at different points in the system, forming a triangle around the planet. Shield generators at 60% capacity, reported Engineer Park. We need at least 85% for full coverage, Bay checked. The countdown clock. Keep pushing, we still have time. Suddenly, alarms blared through the ship. Main alignment system failing, Engineer Park shouted. The radiation is affecting the automatic calibration. Bay quickly assessed the situation. Can we align manually? Park hesitated. Yes, but someone would have to go into the outer chamber. The radiation levels there would be fatal, Bay finished for him. I understand, I'll go. Captain, Park began to protest. This is not open for discussion, Bay said firmly. Prepare the manual controls. Minutes later, dressed in a protective suit that could only delay the inevitable, Bay entered the outer chamber. Through the viewport, she could see the approaching energy wave of the cascade, beautiful and deadly. Her hands moved quickly over the manual controls, adjusting the shield emitters one by one. The radiation alarms in her suit began to sound, but she ignored them. Alignment at 70%, she reported through her comm. 75, 80. On the Vraxian planet below, Grand Councillor Telek stood with colony leaders, watching the sky anxiously. When the human ships had arrived, many had been skeptical. Now they watched in hope as the tiny vessels positioned themselves to face an incomprehensible force. Alignment complete, came Bay's voice, now weaker. Shield at full capacity. The cascade hit the shield array with blinding force. The energy barrier flickered but held, redirecting the destructive power away from the Yo planet. Throughout the system, similar shields created by other human vessels performed the same miracle. In the outer chamber, Bay collapsed as radiation overwhelmed her suit's protections. As consciousness faded, she looked out at the protected planet. Below on the surface, Telex witnessed the shield holding. His communication device activated with an urgent message from the ship. The captain needs immediate medical evacuation, said a human voice. Radiation exposure beyond survivable levels. Why? Asked Telex, genuinely confused. Why would she sacrifice herself for us? There was a pause before the human responded. Because she could. Across 17 star systems, similar scenes played out. Human crews worked frantically, often exposing themselves to deadly radiation to keep their shields operating. Not all succeeded. 3 systems were lost despite their efforts, but 14 were saved, including all major Council homeworlds. News spread of what the humans had done. The galaxy's perception began to shift. These were not the actions of an immature species. These were the actions of people who understood what it meant to be civilized, perhaps better than those who had called themselves superior. The Great Council chamber fell silent as President Kim walked to the speaker's podium. He moved with a slight limp, a reminder of injuries sustained during the crisis. Many human officers and crew members had not survived the battle against the Helios cascade, but their sacrifice had saved billions across the galaxy. Unlike 10 years earlier, when he had stood in this same spot as a petitioner, Kim now stood as an honored guest. The gallery was packed with representatives from all 27 Council species. By unanimous vote, announced Grand Councillor Telex, his voice carrying throughout the chamber, humanity is granted full member status within the Galactic Council. Applause echoed through the room, genuine this time, not mocking. Kim noticed some of the very same representatives who had laughed at humanity a decade ago now stood in respectful recognition. Further, Telex continued when the applause died down, we request alliance advisors be assigned to all major council worlds. Your innovations in defense, medicine, and transportation have proven invaluable. After the ceremony, Kim found himself surrounded by alien dignitaries eager to speak with him. Many offered condolences for those lost during the deployment of the Aegis Protocol. Others sought technological partnerships. The quantum fold drive specifications will be shared with whole council races, Kim informed them. Dr. Park is already preparing teaching teams. In another part of the station, Dr. Yoon found herself approached by the Medusan scientist who had dismissed her theories about the cascade. Your insights saved my homeworld, the Medusan acknowledged, its gaseous form shifting in what Yoon had learned was a sign of respect. If we had listened sooner. The important thing is that we succeeded in the end, Yoon replied diplomatically. Minister Song joined them, carrying a data tablet. The combined research teams have confirmed your theory, Dr. Yoon. The cascade was indeed a weapon created by an ancient race called the Precursors. It was triggered accidentally by mining operations in the Antares sector. Can it be permanently disabled? Asked the Medusan. We believe so, Song nodded. Joint Human Council expeditions are already being formed to locate the control systems. In the medical wing, Captain Bay sat up in her recovery bed. The radiation damage had been severe, but advanced treatments from both human and alien doctors had saved her life. Through her window, she could see Earth shining in the distance, the first non-founding world ever selected to host a council summit. A Vraxian nurse checked her vital signs. The councillor wishes to see you, she informed Bay. Do you feel strong? Enough, Bay nodded, and minutes later Grand Councillor Telix entered the room. Captain, he greeted her with a formal bow, the colony of Kelthar has added your name to our ancestral records. This is our highest honor, reserved for those who preserve our future. I was just doing my duty, Bay replied softly. That is what makes it remarkable, Telix said. Your people could have let us perish. After our treatment of your species, many would have considered it justice. That was never an option for us, Bay said. Later that evening, a reception was held in the station's grand atrium. Representatives from 28 species, human and alien alike, mingled freely. Dr. Park demonstrated miniature versions of the quantum fold technology to an eager audience. Admiral Choi found herself deep in conversation with military leaders from various council races. Joint Defense Forces make sense, she explained. If the cascade taught us anything, it's that we are stronger together than separate. In a quiet corner, Kim shared a moment with Lee, his loyal deputy from the days when they had first faced the council's ridicule. Did you ever imagine this outcome? Lee asked, gesturing to the diverse gathering. When we left here in shame all those years ago? Kim smiled slightly. I hoped we would earn their respect. I never expected we would earn their admiration, or that our colony ships would be welcome in any system, Lee added. The Council has approved all 7 of our new settlement requests. On the observation deck above the reception, Minister Song found Dr. Yoon staring out at the stars, thinking. About those we lost? Song asked gently. Yoon nodded. Captain Jin, the crews of the Horizon and the Pathfinder, so many others. They would be proud of this moment, Song said. Their sacrifice made it possible. As the evening progressed, Kim was invited to address the gathering once more. Standing before the diverse assembly, he looked out at faces that had once regarded humans with scorn, but now looked to them with respect. 10 years ago we came to you as petitioners and were turned away, Kim began. Today we join you as equals. But our journey was never about proving our superiority or claiming dominance among the stars. He paused, looking around the room. Humanity didn't conquer the stars to rule them, he continued. We did it to be worthy of them, and to show that true strength comes not from age or technology, but from compassion, innovation, and an unwillingness to abandon others in their time of need. As Kim concluded his speech, representatives from all council races raised their hands. In the traditional gesture of unity, a new era had begun, one where humanity's place among the stars was secured not by force, but by the very qualities that had once been dismissed as weaknesses.